tomorrow, and discovering that humans can no longer die from aging. It begins with a medical breakthrough. Scientists testing a new treatment discover a way to permanently stop the biological process of aging. Damaged cells repair themselves, organs regenerate, DNA no longer deteriorates with time. At first, nobody believes it. Then doctors test the treatment again and again. The results are undeniable. Aging has been stopped. Within months, governments approve the treatment. Millions volunteer, then billions. A 70-year-old could receive the therapy and remain biologically healthy for centuries. A 25-year-old could stay young, almost indefinitely. For the first time in human history, old age no longer has to end in death. The world celebrates. Hospitals fill with people desperate to receive the treatment. Families realize they may never have to say goodbye. People begin making plans, not for the next 10 years, but for the next 100. Then 500, maybe even 1,000. Everything changes. Retirement suddenly makes no sense. Marriage could potentially last centuries. People could have dozens of careers. You could spend 50 years studying science, another 50 traveling the world, and still have centuries ahead of you. But humanity quickly discovers a problem. People have stopped dying from age, but babies are still being born. Every minute, the population grows. And almost nobody leaves. Within decades, Earth's population explodes. Cities expand upward. Forests disappear beneath new settlements. Food production struggles to keep up. Housing becomes incredibly expensive. Governments face an impossible question. If nobody dies, how many new people can be born? Some countries begin limiting childbirth. Others refuse. Protests spread. People argue that immortality has created a world where being born itself might become a privilege. And then society discovers another problem. Wealth. Imagine someone investing money for 500 years. The richest people could accumulate fortunes larger than entire nations. Political leaders might remain powerful for centuries. Companies could be controlled by the same people, generation after generation. Humanity defeated aging, but it didn't defeat inequality. And slowly, the greatest medical achievement in history begins creating problems nobody expected. Because living forever sounds incredible, when you imagine yourself surviving. But what happens when everyone survives? And what happens when Earth finally runs out of room? In Part 2, immortality transforms families, governments and the global economy, while humanity realizes that eternal life may come with a terrifying price. The price of forever. 100 years pass, and the first generation of immortal humans is still alive. People who were born centuries apart now walk the same streets. Parents never grow old. Children become adults, while their parents remain almost exactly the same. At first, it seems extraordinary. But Earth is changing. The population continues growing. Cities become enormous vertical worlds. Apartment towers rise higher than anything humans once imagined. Food is produced inside massive automated farms. Every available piece of land becomes valuable. And governments begin introducing laws humanity never thought it would need. Some countries restrict childbirth. Others require people to wait decades before having children. Suddenly, the right to create new life becomes one of the most controversial issues on Earth. But population isn't the only problem. Jobs begin disappearing, not because of artificial intelligence, but because people never retire. Imagine competing for a position against someone with 300 years of experience. Universities change, careers change, entire economic systems have to be redesigned. Then another division appears. The immortality treatment is expensive to maintain. Wealthy nations can provide it easily. Poorer regions cannot. For the first time, humanity isn't divided simply between rich and poor. It's divided between those who may live forever, and those who still die. Protests erupt around the world. Governments are pressured to make immortality available to everyone. Eventually, the treatment becomes universal. But that creates an even greater problem. Earth cannot support unlimited population growth forever. Humanity needs more space. So governments and private companies begin looking upward. The Moon, Mars, artificial habitats in orbit. Immortality suddenly gives humans something space exploration never had before: time. A journey lasting 20 years no longer seems impossible, when you might live for thousands. Within another century, the first permanent settlements appear across the solar system. Humanity begins spreading beyond Earth. And for a while, it seems immortality has solved its own greatest problem. Until psychologists notice something disturbing. People who have lived for hundreds of years are changing. Some stop forming relationships. Others lose interest in careers. Experiences that once felt exciting begin feeling repetitive. Birthdays become meaningless. Decades pass like seasons. And some immortals begin asking a question nobody expected. What happens when you have unlimited time, but nothing new left to live for? Because humanity may have defeated biological death, but it hasn't defeated loneliness, boredom, or the weight of centuries of memories. A civilization without end. 500 years pass, and humanity is almost unrecognizable. Earth is no longer our only home. Millions live on Mars. Others live on the Moon, inside enormous orbital cities, and on colonies scattered throughout the solar system. For immortal humans, distance has become less important. A journey that takes 30 years is no longer a lifetime. It's simply a trip. Some humans even leave the solar system, traveling toward nearby stars on voyages lasting centuries. They know they may never see Earth again, but they have something previous generations never had: time. Back on Earth, the oldest humans are now more than 500 years old. They remember a world before immortality. They remember smartphones, gasoline cars, countries and cities that no longer exist. Some have watched entire civilizations transform around them, but carrying centuries of memories has consequences. The human brain wasn't designed for an endless life. People begin forgetting parts of their past. Faces disappear from memory. Important moments become blurry. Some immortals record their entire lives digitally, creating enormous archives containing centuries of experiences. Others choose to erase memories intentionally, just to experience life as something new again. Society begins changing too. Some people spend a century as scientists, then become artists, explorers, farmers, or something completely different. Relationships change. Marriage for life means something very different, when life could last thousands of years. But the greatest change happens far from Earth. Human colonies begin developing independently. Mars creates its own culture. Orbital civilizations develop different traditions. Humans living on distant worlds begin modifying their bodies to survive new environments. Some become adapted to low gravity. Others integrate technology directly into their bodies. After centuries, humanity is no longer becoming one immortal civilization. It's becoming many. Then astronomers make a discovery. A nearby star is beginning to change. Not tomorrow, not next year, but in a few thousand years, it could make an entire region of space dangerous. For ordinary humans, thousands of years would feel unimaginably distant. But immortals realize something terrifying. They may actually live long enough to see it happen. For the first time, humanity understands the true meaning of immortality. Living forever doesn't mean escaping the future. It means surviving long enough to face it. Thousands of years pass, then millions. Humanity continues spreading across the galaxy. Earth becomes a distant memory. Some humans live inside enormous artificial worlds. Others travel between stars, watching civilizations rise and disappear. But even immortal humans cannot stop the universe from changing. Stars grow old, planets become uninhabitable, entire solar systems slowly die. And humanity finally understands something important. Immortality never meant being indestructible. Humans can still die in accidents. They can still be destroyed by extreme cosmic events. And even if technology protects them, the universe itself will not last forever. Billions of years pass. The sun eventually reaches the end of its life. But humanity left the solar system long before that happened. By now, our descendants have spread across countless worlds. Some still look human. Others have changed themselves so dramatically that their ancestors would barely recognize them. Biological bodies can be replaced. Memories can be stored. Minds can move between artificial bodies. Human existence becomes something completely different. And yet, one question remains. Would anyone actually want to live forever? Imagine remembering 10,000 years. Then 1,000,000. Everyone you once knew might still exist, or they may have chosen to end their lives long ago. Every place you loved could disappear. Mountains would erode. Oceans would change. Planets would die. Even stars you watched as a child would eventually vanish. Perhaps immortality's greatest challenge wouldn't be surviving. It would be finding a reason to keep going. Some humans might explore forever. Some might create entire virtual worlds. Others might voluntarily erase their memories and begin new lives without knowing they had already lived millions of years. And some might eventually choose mortality, because death was once humanity's greatest fear. But after millions of years, it might become something else. A choice. Immortality could give humanity enough time to explore the galaxy, transform civilization, and witness events no mortal person could ever imagine. But it would also teach us something unexpected. Maybe the value of life doesn't come from how long it lasts. Maybe it comes from knowing that our time matters. So if scientists offered you immortality tomorrow, would you take it? Would you choose to live for 1,000 years? 1,000,000? Or forever? Because becoming immortal might solve humanity's oldest problem, but it could create an even harder one. What do you do with a life that never ends?